welcome to Night Prowler, an underrated song off of Highway to Hell. I've always enjoyed this song, so really surprised when I started learning this lead. So we'll go over that. I mean, Angus throws everything in the kitchen sink. He does some tapping as far as notes, and pick scratching and blues licks, and it's really well done. Same with Malcolm's rhythm. He changes it up quite a bit in this, so we'll go over the different changes so you'll have everything. The song's in E flat, so tune your guitar down a half step. E flat, A flat, and so forth. I'll have my notes linked just below the video, so click on that and you can download it, and we'll get into the lesson. Okay, so the song is in 6/8 timing, so it's almost got a triplet feel. And with that said, the intro starts out basically with an A to a D to a C sus2 back to D. We'll do that 2 times. And these are just power chords. Now the second time through, he hits the C sus2 twice. And then just holds the D. Now if you're not familiar with the C sus2, it's just the 3rd fret of the 5th and 2nd string with the middle 2 strings open. Alright, so that's a C sus2. And we got the D that we hold. Alright, D's held for about 8 counts. I think I didn't count it out, frankly, but anyhow, the D is held the second time through, and then we come in with this rhythm that changes. Alright, I'll stop there because this repeats 4 times in the intro measure. Okay, there's a solo part during this. We'll cover that after we go over the rhythm. The intro solo, like I said, we'll cover that later, but this is before he starts singing. So I guess we'd still consider it the intro. We're going to hit open 6th to the 3rd fret, open 5th to the 3rd fret, and then an A, D. Alright, so we have this so far. Then we're going to hit the bottom half of the C sus2. So we'll hit the 5th, 4th, and 3rd strings, and then pick the open G string and the 3rd fret of the 2nd string. Alright, so it'll sound like this. And then back to D. Alright, so that sees us with the notes picked to D again. 1, 2, 3, 4. So let's go through this 2 times. And then again it'll repeat 2 more times. So this is the intro rhythm underneath the intro solo. 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright, so again, I'll do that 2 more times, and then we start the actual vocals. And the vocals will enter after doing a quarter measure of what I'm going to show you, but we're slowing things down, okay? So we're going to focus on Malcolm here, and he's just covering A to D, G, back to D, alright? So the way we play that is slowly, the 5th and 4th string, power chord A. Then we're going to move that 4th string to the 4th fret and put our 5th string at the 5th fret. And then bring your middle finger down to the 5th fret on the 4th string. playing the structured chords in there. And really, just during this first vocal measure, verse 1, if you will, do they do that. Next, we're going to crescendo. I call this diminuendo, which in my notes, that means slow this down, quiet it down, if you will. Not slow it down, quiet it down. And then we crescendo or pick up, again, a very similar lick, all right? So we'll go through this A to D to G, back to D. One more time. So when we pick it up there, we're moving to a G power chord, all right? So you want to cover that B note. You don't want that open second string. So use your 2 fingers to cover the first 2 strings at the 3rd fret. Use your 6th string at the 3rd fret and don't let that A ring. All right, and then D. So that's the difference in this verse. We're using a G, not a C sus2. So I think that confuses people a little bit because they sound very, very similar. But if you really listen to the song with the headphones and do left to right, you'll be able to pick that out. Okay, so let's go over this lick and what's different during this crescendo piece. So this variation on that rhythm is basically, we're going to start out the same with our notes to an A, but we'll also hit another A. Then when we go to D, we'll do a quick down up on the D chord. All right, so it'll sound like this up to the D. 1, 2, 3, 4. To that G chord, it'll be struck twice, and then to D. Alright, they'll do that a total of 4 times. So then we are into the chorus, and again this rhythm lick changes a little bit. Malcolm is just a master at making changing these rhythms to fit whether it's the chorus or the verse, and you get a different feel with it. So okay, I'll go over the chorus and I'll do a half measure and see if you can figure out what's different. So what we're doing there, we're only going to strike the A once after our lick. The D will be twice. Now we're moving back to our C sus2, but we're just going to pick 3 notes out of it. We're going to pick the 5th string, the 3rd string, and the 2nd string. And then D. It's really cool, again, playing the A once to the D twice and then just notes after that really changes the flavor and fits the chorus. So that's, again, these verses and chorus, other than that first diminuendo part, other than that, are pretty much the same. So I'm going to keep going through this. The next measure will be the solo. Okay, the actual solo of the song. There's 2 of them, all right? So solo 1, the rhythm of it is the chorus. So this chorus will go through 4 times and then 3 more exactly the same. And again, that gives Angus some breathing room because you're not just always hitting. You're more. it's giving him a little bit breathing room. So in that solo rhythm, we do that again 3 more times. The 4th time, all he does is hang on the C sus2 for it's a 3 count, and then to a D for a 3 count, almost like a triplet. So let me do the last 2 measures of the solo rhythm. All right, 1, 2, 3, 4. So that is the solo rhythm. So even though it's 1, 2, 3, it's a down up. And then we're into the next verse. All right, verse 2. Wow, quite different. There's definitely 2 guitars in this, and I've noted both here. I'll show you the second guitar because it's so similar to what we've learned. I'm going to go through a first half measure. See if you can see the difference here. All right, the difference is we didn't start with the lick. That's one big difference. So we come right in with the A. The A will be played twice, the D will be played twice. Again, we're in the verse, so we're going to play the G power chord. We'll do that twice, excuse me, and then to a D once, and then the lick. So while that's going on, the guitar that I really like to play with, and I feel this is what Malcolm is playing, is really kind of a rock and roll-ish, that kind of where you're moving up the just 2 strings. All right, so it will sound like this. So basically what we're doing is we're going to hit just the 5th and 4th string. So I'll talk to the frets. We're going to start out with the 2nd fret, so basically an A power chord. We'll hit it once, then 2 quickly, then once again, and then a 4. Alright, so then the 4 will be 2 more times and then once, so it's staccato, all right? So we're kind of pausing between. Then we're going to go 4 to 5, and then 5 twice, and then back to 4 twice. All right, so slowly again, 1, 2, 3, 4. Time. I went 3 times through it, but they'll do it a total of 4 times for verse 2, and then we're into chorus 2. Chorus 2 is exactly like chorus 1, which we've learned. All right. Then we kick into solo 2's rhythm. Now in solo 2, the rhythm starts out with our A, and we'll go through the lick 3 times. The 4th time we will stop. So it'll sound like this. right, that leads us into what I call the chorus out. So let's stop there. All right, it's a lot to take in. We start with an A to D, 2 C sus2s, and a D. Then we're going to do 3 more sets of those with a lick intro. Alright, after the third one, we're going to do the lick to an A and stop. Then we come in after the drums, Angus stops. So we come in with a C sus2 to D, do our lick to A and stop again. Then we come in again with a C sus2 twice to D. We'll go through the whole thing one more time. On this last time, we're going to do the D twice and then go right into a C sus2 for 4 measures of 3. And to a D for 4 measures. And then we're into the chorus out. Alright? So the outro of the chorus is kind of similar to what we've done with this rhythm. We'll go over that next. So the chorus that takes us out is, think of it as a little souped up chorus, because rather than pick through to D, the C sus2, we're going to do that bottom half of the C sus2 and then the pick notes. Alright, so there's one time through this without the lick, the 6 to 5. And then we're going to do it a total of 6 times before we end on what would be the 8th measure. Alright, so let me go all through this into the ending and you'll have it all. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so we've gone all through. The ending is basically just that C sus2 for the 4 triplets, and then the D for 4 triplets, and end on an A. Okay, so that is the chorus out and the ending. We'll go over the solo next, which is fascinating to me. I was really surprised once I get into this, and I think you will be too. So during the intro, we're going to do this solo. You will hear him. He's going to actually tap some notes at the 12th fret on the 3rd string, 13th fret on the 2nd string. There's just no other way to do these notes, and you'll see how it makes sense once you hear the solo and play along with it. So. Really awesome. I never knew Angus, quote, tapped. And this isn't really, that kind of tapping, but, he's been accused of it for Thunderstruck's intro. I don't feel he does, but anyhow, what we're doing here, to start out, it's a bend at the 8th fret of the 2nd string with some vibrato, and it's held. Then there's a little bit of feedback. And then we're going to hit 8, bend it up again, and then hit it and release and hit 5. Then we'll hit 8 again, bend up and held. Then we're going to hit 8, release to 5, and then strike 7 on the 3rd string bent. At that point, it's held for a little bit. We're going to tap on the 12th fret of that 3rd string, pull off to 7, and then pull off to 5. So from the bend at 7, then we're going to do that strike, bend, release, release the tap, pull off to 5. So it'll sound like this. It does that 3 times. So it's kind of as you strike it, you're bending it up, and then you pull off the tap and release. Then we're going to do that on the 2nd string at 13, tap, bend 8. We'll release the tap to 8 and then release to 5. Alright, so let me take it from the 3rd string tap. Pull off to 5, and that is the intro lead. It's really cool once you get that down and realize what he's doing there, because there's just no other way to grab those notes and make it sound that way it does when you're tapping. So the first solo, we're all in pretty much A minor pentatonic here. We're going to be pretty much focusing on the 3rd and 2nd string. The first half measure will sound like this. So what we're doing there is 7th fret 3rd string with a bend and vibrato. Then we're going to bend it again, strike it, unbent, bend it again, strike it, unbent, again struck and bent, and then go to 5, slightly pull down, and then hit, that's on the 3rd string, then hit 7 on the 4th. Then we hit the 8th fret of the 2nd string with a slow bend. Then we're going to hit it again and bend it, and then unbent, and then a bend and release. And slide down. Alright, that's pretty much the first half. We're going to come back into 5. This is the 2nd half of the first measure of the solo. Alright, so what we're doing is we're going to come back to 5 with a slight bend, and then we're going to hit 7, 5, 5 times. Then 7, we're going to bend and release and bend and release with vibrato and slide off. Okay, so let's do that whole first measure of the solo together. 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright, then we're going to slide back in to the 5th fret. This will be on the 1st string. Alright, so we're going to slide back into 5 on the 1st string. Then we come back 8, 5, 8 on the 2nd string. Then we'll hit 8 again with some bend and vibrato. Up to 13, and we'll hit that 3 times bent. The third time we hold it with the vibrato. That's the whole first solo. Again, it's not very difficult. When you play with this, what makes it difficult is it's really a feel. He's sometimes behind the beat, sometimes he's on the beat, but he's just playing this with a lot of feeling. So that's the first solo that you'll hear. All right, second solo. We're going to start out very similar. We're going to be in this A minor pentatonic, if you will. We're going to start out on the 7th fret of the 3rd string, and the first measure will sound like this. Alright, so this first measure, we're going to start out on the 3rd string, 7th fret with some bend and vibrato, and then we're going to hit 7, bend and release. We'll do that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times. Last time it's held for a slight bit, and then we're going to come to the 1st string at 5, 2nd string at 5, to 8 bent, and then 8 bent again with some vibrato before we pull off. Alright, then we come back to the 1st string at 8 bent with some vibrato, then we'll go 8, 5, and kind of as a triplet walk down. Alright, so we're going to walk from 8 to 5, to 8 on the 2nd string, back to 5 on the 1st, 8 to 5 on the 2nd, to 7, and then 5 with a little bend and vibrato. Alright, then we're going to come up, this will be the 2nd measure. It's just going to be the 7s with the bends and release, and then a pick scrape as he's holding that. Okay, so it's kind of different, but the way the rhythm is going, it really fits in there. This 3rd measure is, again, a kind of a triplet through the minor scale. And then we're going to do a vibrato and pick scrape, but then go into a C sus2 to D. Alright, we're kind of coming in with the rhythm as we come out of this a little bit, because there's more to the solo. Alright, so it will start out like this. Alright, so what we do, we're going to pull off from 8 to 5 on the 1st string, to 8 on the 2nd, back to 5 on the 1st. 2nd string, 8 pulled off to 5, 3rd string, 7, back to 5 on the 2nd. 3rd string pulled off from 7 to 5, landing on 7 on the 4th, and then when we hit 5, we'll give it slight bend and release before coming back to 7 on that 4th string with a bend and release and vibrato. Alright, and then the pick scrape. So we have this 1, 2, 3, 4. Then a C sus2 to D, and then we pick up with the next measure of the solo. Okay, the next measure of the solo, second to last measure. We're almost there, folks. So now we're going to hit 5 to 7, 3rd string. Again, we're still in that 5th position, and it'll sound like this. Alright, so this is very quick, but what he's doing, 7 to 5 with some vibrato. I'm sorry, 5 to 7 with some vibrato. Then we're going to do our 7 bend and release We'll hit that a total of, what is it, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times. Last time we give it some vibrato, then we come to the 5th fret, 1st string to 2nd string to 8 with bend and vibrato and held before we hit 8 bent 4 times. Then slide off. Now we'll slide back into 8 bent. Alright, so we're going to slide into 8 now, bend it up, hit 5 on the 1st string, back to 8 on the 2nd, pulled off to 5, to 3 bent slightly, and then 5 on the 2nd string. Then we're going to go right back to 7, pulled off to 5, land on the 4th string at 7 and slid down. The last measure of the solo is basically 2 notes. The first one is hit 12 times, the second one is hit 4 times. It's 20 on the 2nd string, 20 on the 1st. So we'll do 12 hits with bends. I'm not going to go through all 12. And then 4 strikes on 20 on the 1st string. And that's the song. So I really hope that helps everybody on a little obscure AC/DC song. Enjoy.